Cabaret is based on the writings of Christopher Isherwood, an English novelist and screenwriter who made his way to Berlin in 1929 to visit his close childhood friend, famous poet W.H. Auden. Isherwood arrived in Berlin in the twilight of the Weimar Republic's golden years, finding a still pulsing scene of creativity, political art, and sexual exploration. While there, he began a relationship with a young German man, Heinz Nettermeyer, kept a daily diary, and briefly shared a flat with a young English cabaret singer, Jean Ross. Isherwood used his diary and his experiences in Berlin as the inspirations for several short novellas, including Goodbye to Berlin, which introduced the world to the now iconic character of Sally Bowles, who was loosely based on Ross. Isherwood and Nettermeyer fled Nazi Germany in 1933, but in 1937, after failing to find a country that would take them in, Nettermeyer was arrested by the Gestapo and sentenced to prison. Nettermeyer survived the war, but his and Isherwood's relationship ended. Isherwood and Auden immigrated to the United States in 1939, and in 1945, Isherwood republished Goodbye to Berlin and several of his other short novellas from the time as a collection, The Berlin Stories. In 1951, famous English dramatist and director John Van Druten adapted Isherwood's book into a play titled I Am a Camera, a line taken from the first page of the novel, which centered around the complex relationship between a fictionalized version of Isherwood and the character Sally Bowles. While some critics panned the play when it first opened at the Empire Theater, it would go on to a highly successful commercial run of 214 performances and earned Julie Harris, in the lead role of Sally Bowles, her first of 5 Tony Awards, as well as a Best Featured Actress Tony for co-star Marion Winters. Van Druten's play was adapted into a movie of the same name in 1955 and was a huge commercial success, earning Harris a nomination for Best Actress at the Academy Awards that year. In 1963, producer David Black acquired the rights to I Am a Camera with the goal of turning it into a musical starring Julie Andrews. However, because of the perceived immoral content of the play, Andrews' manager refused to allow her to participate in the project, leaving it dead in the water. The project was then acquired by producer and director Hal Prince, who hired Joe Masteroff to write the book. Prince and Masteroff made substantial adjustments to the characters and story, turning the play into a musical we know today. English protagonist Christopher became American protagonist Cliff. The secondary plot was completely reimagined and a young Nazi character was added. They also felt the score needed a more contemporary and provocative tone, so they brought in up-and-coming composer duo John Kander and Fred Ebb. Kander and Ebb's style was perhaps best defined by their contradictory natures being used in complementary ways, with Ebb's campy and often sarcastic lyrics set to Kander's deeply harmonic ballads. Kander and Ebb introduced the concept of alternating between narrative scenes and the now iconic cabaret numbers, commenting on the politics and tone of the moment, similar to the fare featured in the real cabarets of the time. The new show built by Prince, Masteroff, Kander, and Ebb would prove to be a resounding success, and the original Broadway production of Cabaret ran for more than 1,100 performances and won the Tony for Best Musical, with Joel Grey's performance as the MC being touted as especially profound. The production transferred to the West End in 1968 with Judi Dench in the starring role of Sally Bowles. A film version of the musical was produced in 1972 with direction and choreography by Bob Fosse. Joel Grey reprised his role as the MC, and a relatively unknown Liza Minnelli starred as Sally Bowles. The movie went on to win 8 Academy Awards, including wins for Minnelli, Grey, Fosse, and Kander and Ebb. In 1998, the show was significantly reimagined once again by Sam Mendes, who complicated the sexual relationships of the characters, added in clearer commentary on the anti-Semitism occurring around them, and reintroduced several songs that had been previously cut. For nearly 60 years, Cabaret has been reproduced and revisited. Along with the iconic work of Minnelli, Dench, and Joel Grey, it has served as a star vehicle for Alan Cumming, Sienna Miller, Emma Stone, Terry Hatcher, Molly Ringwald, Michelle Williams, Natasha Richardson, Michael C. Hall, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Neil Patrick Harris, to name just a few. From the first observations made by Isherwood in 1929 Berlin, These characters and stories have proven to be full of life, power, and humanity, and have needed to be revisited again and again.